let's step away from what's going on in politics, age verification, and get into streaming entertainment, because there's some news out there also that's very important right now at the moment. Now, back, MSNBC is being split off into its own company now, MS Now. I mean, when we did the live feed last week, we were talking about it a little bit. Basically, they kept the MS, which is the Microsoft. And it's been years. Why is they still calling themselves MS on that? Because the MS was Microsoft, and then Microsoft is no longer, part of this. But the thing about it is now you have other companies planning to do the same thing, including one of our favorite networks on there, Cartoon Network. Adult Swim is going to be split away from Warner Brothers Discovery.
No! You maniac! You blew her up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. But before we get into it, we just have a moment to tell you, which is very important right now. Drop a comment, like, share, and, more than ever right now, you must hit that subscribe button. There are those players out there that want to stop, freedom of speech. We already lost someone in this battle for freedom. That basically, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, disgustingly assassinated by a player out there that basically did not want to have conversation, did not want to debate the situation, because Charlie Kirk was a great debater. Basically was a good man, young, had a family, children. This is the thing that he always pushed. The family unit. Be able to discuss freedom of speech. Be able to discuss these things in a calm, cool, collective atmosphere. But that's not what they want. So more than ever right now, hit that subscribe. Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Rumble, we're going to try to do more live feeds coming out so we can talk with you via chat. So you'll be able to fill in your position. Our last live stream, which basically was very successful, we had a lot of people come in and talk, and we had Sci-Fi Snob in there, we had Cam, we had Jason from Sci-Fi For Me, we had Death Angel Shadows. We tried to get Cultures Casino, but he couldn't make it. But we had these people come in and talk, and this is what we wanted to do with this channel. So, like I said, hit that subscribe. So, from Cord Cutter News, this came out, at the time of this recording. We did this on September 11th, and it's now just coming out. We're just putting this video out this week. Warner Brothers Discovery wants to get rid of CNN, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, TNT, and its other cable networks in April of 2026. And, before I read this is something it was coming. Linear television is dying. Fast channels is going to be the big thing. Fast channels is growing and growing every day. You see more channels being opened up on there. Of a recent, I think there was a Hogan's Heroes one put up there. Trying to remember what the rest of the ones. There was so many. There's another Star Trek channel has been added, another horror channel. So many things on there. Anime channels, children's channels, so much on there. But let's read into this. Warner Brothers Discovery has announced a plan to complete a significant company split by April of 2026, separating its streaming and studio businesses from its global cable television networks. According to Deadline, the decision marks a strategic pivot for the media conglomerate, aiming to streamline operations and focus on high-growth sectors while addressing the challenges facing traditional linear television. This was announced earlier this year, but now has a rough date. The separation will create two distinct publicly traded entities. The first, a rebranded of Warner Brothers, which will encompass Warner Brothers Television, Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group, DC Studios, HBO, and the HBO Max streaming platform, along with its extensive film and television libraries. The second entity, tentatively named Discovery Global, will house Warner Brothers Discovery Entertainment Sports and news television brands, including the prominent networks like CNN, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, TNT Sports in the U.S., and Discovery. Additionally, Discovery Global will include top free to air channels across Europe and digital products such as the profitable Discovery Plus streaming service and Bleacher Report. The announcement, first formalized in June, follows a similar strategic by competitor Comcast, which plans to spin off NBC Universal linear cable networks by the end of 2025. The move reflects an industry-wide recognition of the declining viability of traditional cable television, particularly in the entertainment, as audiences increasingly shift to streaming platforms. By separating its business, Warner Brothers Discovery aims to grant each entity a greater focus and flexibility to pursue strategic investments tailored to their respective markets. Discover Global will prioritize reimagining its portfolio for a digital future. The company plans to explore the potential of its brands, such as transferring CNN into a more robust global business and developing innovative streaming solutions for sports content. Additionally, the standalone networks business will seek opportunities to acquire undervalued assets, particularly in Europe free-to-air television market, to bolster cash flow, ensure long-term sustainability. Meanwhile, the rebrand Warner Brothers will focus on expanding HBO Max internationally and enhance its content offering to drive subscriber growth. The company anticipates implementing price increases for its streaming services. Of course it will. Capitalizing on growth consumer demand for its premium series and films rather than prioritizing crackdowns on password sharing in the near term. This restructuring positions Warner Brother Discovery to navigate the evolving media landscape, balancing the challenges of a declining linear television with the opportunities presented by streaming and global markets. The split is expected to be finalized without regulatory hurdles, signals a transformative step for the company as it adapts to industry shifts. Now, the one thing that this article did, they didn't talk too much about TNT. They didn't talk too much about Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. But from what I can see from this point, could it be possible that, this new division just eliminates Cartoon Network and becomes Adult Swim permanently? It is a possibility. I've said this in the past before. Their priority as far as viewership on linear is better with an Adult Swim channel than Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network has been dwindling for years now. The viewer, the kids viewers, the children television has been dwindling for some time now. You already see this from the situation. You already see that Sesame Street will be throwing episodes. Besides that, they're going to be on Netflix on new episodes. YouTube will be the home for their older episodes throughout there, hopefully all the way back to the beginning. I'm hoping on that. YouTube has been home for a lot of children's product on there. Same thing with Tubi TV, Pluto TV, and many others, especially, a lot of the fast channels on there. Because basically, children's television is very important. And to find something that's basically quick for the kids, that's the big deal right there. And find something that they truly do love. None of this political stuff that they've been trying to push onto the children's viewers for quite some time now. Because they need to stop sexualizing, 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds. They need to stop with this bullshit to this whole situation. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not anti-LGBT, LGBT, but you got to leave the little kids alone. When they grow up, when they're old enough to understand, then those discussions can be had. But you don't do it when they're little kids. It doesn't work that way. All you're doing is you're breeding the next anarchist. That's all you're doing. You're breeding anarchists and radicals because you're confusing that child. He's going to go through a lot of mental issues. This is something that is always known. Children need to grow at the pace that they've always been. I've had my issues when I was a kid, and I went out and got help for it, and I understood what to that point. I had, my parents separated when I was a kid, but the thing about it is we stayed in touch. We try to keep that family together in different ways, not the way you wanted, but at least, in the end, my father was still in our lives to that point, which is very important. But getting back to this, TNT has been in a situation, same thing TBS. They're just looking for a new rebranding, and hopefully with the separation, they'll get a new life to this point, hopefully. But like I said, linear TV is on its way out. Figure it's got at least cable and linear. Figure I'm going to give it another 20, 25 years left before we really streamline into true fast channels. It might be sooner. We never know. But, the thing about it is, there are issues with ATSC 3.0. Basically everybody wants to make a buck out of that. They're trying to force it into the situation, but small, networks like Weagle Broadcasting and all that are fighting that as well. So let me know in the comments below. What do you think? You think Adult Swim will finally just take over completely? You think that CNN will just rebuild from there and become a different news network or return back to its original roots? And what about the other channels that Warner owns? What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to check out Sci-Fi Snobs, Babylon 5 Retrospective, 11 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday right here on YouTube. Also, check out Sci-Fi For Me, his daily broadcast. If you subscribe to his channel, you'll get link up to basically when he does the live podcast. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.